Want to know how to select an apple that's both sweet and perfectly crunchy? I'm going to show you some easy ways to spot the sweetest, crispiest apples. At the conclusion of the video, I'll share a little-known method my grandmother used to preserve apples for weeks. You won't want to skip it. Tip 1. Check the color of the apple's skin to distinguish between them. The first thing to consider when picking apples, especially for us women, is the color of the apple's skin. When buying apples, look for ones that have a mix of red and yellow on their skin with uneven coloring. That indicates a naturally ripened apple that's juicy and sweet. On the other hand, apples with perfectly even red skin that looks shiny, almost lacquered, could be chemically treated, so be careful. When eating apples, avoid peeling them unless necessary, as the skin holds over half of the apple's antioxidants and fiber. Here's a quick tip for safely eating apple peels. Rinse them with diluted salt water or apple cider vinegar to get rid of any wax or pesticide residue. Don't choose apples based solely on appearance. Pick the ones that are genuinely ripe to bring sweet and healthy fruit to your family. Tip 2. Look at the striped patterns on the apple's skin. Red and yellow stripes show that the apple ripened naturally in sunlight without chemicals, giving it a lightly sweet taste, crisp texture, and plenty of juice. On the other hand, apples with smooth, shiny, and evenly colored skin may look appealing, but they're often waxed or underexposed to sunlight, which makes them bland, less juicy, and lacking in rich flavor. Choose apples with natural red and yellow stripes. Though they may look rustic, they're sweet, delicious, and packed with nutrients for the whole family. Tip 3. Use your hands to feel the apple skin. Apples with skin that's slightly textured, not shiny and smooth, are usually the ones that matured fully under the sun. On the other hand, apples with overly smooth and shiny skin can be sour, bland, and less juicy. These are often picked for looks rather than flavor. Also, avoid apples with black spots or unusual rough patches, as these indicate bruising or spoilage. Tip 4. Take a look at the stem to determine freshness. It's an easy way to tell if an apple is in good condition. If the stem is still light green and looks fresh, it means the apple was recently harvested and has kept its crispness, juiciness, and natural sweetness. On the other hand, if the stem is yellow or dark brown, the apple has probably been sitting for a while and may have lost moisture, crispness, and flavor. Remember to give the stem a quick look. It helps you pick a crisp, juicy, and delicious apple. Tip 5. Check the apple's belly button. If it's small and shallow, what growers jokingly call a male apple, it usually has firm flesh, less juice, and a slightly tart flavor, perfect for those who like crisp, dense apples. On the other hand, a large, deeply indented belly button indicates a female apple, which usually has a rounder shape, juicier flesh, and a sweeter taste. Tip 6. Hold the apple in your hand to feel its weight. This is the final step in picking a truly delicious apple. When comparing two apples of similar size, pick the heavier one. Heavier apples have more water, which makes them juicy, crisp, and sweet. Lighter ones may have lost moisture during storage and tend to be dry and mealy. At the very beginning, I'll teach you a simple trick from my grandmother to keep apples fresh and crisp for weeks. Begin by going through your apples and discarding any that are bruised or damaged. One bad apple can spoil the whole bunch. Then, wrap each apple individually in paper towels or newspaper to soak up excess moisture, and place them in a perforated plastic bag or a breathable container in the fridge's crisper drawer. Be sure to keep apples separate from other fruits like bananas, as bananas release ethylene gas that can make apples ripen and spoil faster. If you enjoyed this video, share it with a friend or family member who might like it too. Don't forget to leave a comment. I'd love to hear your favorite apple tips or how you keep your fruits fresh at home. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more simple, wholesome ideas. You won't believe how easy it is to make it fresh. Cilantro and parsley. Make a homemade fragrant powder that lasts the entire year. Today, I'll show you how to make coriander powder and parsley powder easily at home. First is cilantro. You need to prepare 2 bunches of fresh cilantro. Cut off the roots. Now let's move on to the parsley. I'm using 2 fresh bunches. Parsley stems are much thicker and stronger than cilantro stems, so we won't be using them this time. Start by holding a bunch in your hand and gently plucking the leaves. Once you've trimmed the cilantro and parsley, It's time to wash and properly disinfect them. Start by filling a large bowl with clean water. Add a tiny amount of white vinegar to the water. Then wash each type separately. Begin with the cilantro. Soak it in the vinegar water for about 5 minutes. Rinse the cilantro one more time with fresh water. Set the parsley in a fresh bowl containing vinegar water. Soak it for about 5 minutes. Rinse thoroughly and let it drain well. Because of their different textures, avoid washing both herbs at the same time. It's time to dry them. Start by spreading a clean cotton towel over the surface. Lay a paper towel or a soft kitchen towel on the counter. In case the herbs are still a little wet, take another towel or a few sheets of paper towels. Use a towel to lightly pat them dry and absorb remaining moisture. Just remove the excess water, so they won't steam during the drying process. Or if you're in a hurry, you can place them near a small fan, or even under gentle sunlight for a few minutes. Now you can transfer them into the oven. It's time to put the parsley in the oven to dry. Grab the parsley that has been cleaned and lightly dried. Spread the parsley evenly over multiple baking trays. Make sure the leaves are not overlapping too much. This helps them dry more evenly and keep their bright color. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees, about 200 degrees. Allow the herbs to dry for approximately 10 minutes. If your oven is too hot, you can lower the temperature to 375 degrees. About 170 degrees to prevent over-drying. After 10 minutes, remove the tray from the oven and let the parsley cool completely. It's time to turn them into a finely ground, aromatic powder. Begin by carefully rubbing the dried parsley leaves. Using your fingers or the palms of your hands, you'll notice they break apart into tiny flakes. You can grind it into a fine powder, releasing an incredible aroma. You may also grind it using a mortar and pestle, or grind them finer using a small blender. After grinding, use a small funnel to pour the powder into clean, dry glass jars. Finally, store the jar in a cool. If your home doesn't have an oven, don't worry, you can still make delicious. Take a clean pan, place it on the stove, and add the cilantro. Use a wooden spoon or spatula to softly stir the ingredients. After about 10 to 15 minutes, you'll notice the leaves beginning to shrink and dry out. If the stems are still attached, it may take a few extra minutes. Removing them beforehand will help shorten the drying time. When the cilantro is completely dry, turn off the stove. Let it sit in the pan and cool for a few minutes. It may have a slightly different texture compared to oven-dried. Dried parsley with a slightly more rustic texture. And there's more, if you happen to have an air fryer at home. Arrange the cilantro evenly inside the air fryer basket. Turn on the drying mode and set the temperature to around 70 degrees Celsius. Keep it at 160 degrees for 1 hour, rotating halfway through. After opening the basket, gently move the cilantro around, so that it dries uniformly. Let the cilantro cool all the way through once finished. Store the powder in airtight jars, away from direct sunlight. A few bunches of fresh herbs can become delicious.